Hey guys, Brass Facts here. I like 300 Blackout. While there are many ways to use it, subsonic only, supersonic PDW only, hunting with a 16-inch rifle, the list goes on, my preferred setup is the so-called sentry gun configuration, and I consider it the cartridge maximized, where you aim to have a single rifle cover the utility of an MP5 SD, which allows for sub-gun volume levels in a smaller than Mark 18 size package, but with the single switch of a magazine without touching anything else on the rifle to switch to rifle-like performance with supersonic rounds is a very versatile and cool feature set to have. Unfortunately, this comes with a lot of unforeseen consequences and sort of problems that we'd like to solve. The 300 Blackout issue boils down to a simple problem that has second and third order effects. We can set up the rifle to work with supersonic rounds, but the gun will now not cycle subsonic rounds at all. And if we set up the rifle to work with subsonic rounds, the firearm will be a complete miserable experience when used with supersonics.
Oh, that's horrible. It's barely cycling.
The baseline is just to tune for more reliable subsonic performance, and then to just take the notable increase of lung cancer, bits of metal, increased recoil, and grit to the face as a cost of doing business. Unfortunately, this comes with a host of problems that you can't really just suck up. High round counts and extremely overgas configurations tend to be hell on the host platform and your desire to actually shoot the damn thing. I've heard multiple anecdotes about how honey badgers beat themselves to death when run this way, and my PWS Mark 109 mirrors this, and in about 2,500 rounds I had to send it back to PWS, who were so perplexed as to how exactly I broke their gun, they just said fuck it and replaced the entire barrel piston in BCG. Other platforms yet, like this Rattler clone, unaffectionately called the Shatler, have reached the mythical point where adding more gas has circled back to making the gun actually less reliable. No, seriously, you take the suppressor off and the gun somehow works again. The original SIG Rattler in the ultra short barrel configuration with a heavy back pressure can running supersonics wide open will potentially do the same as well. The Occam's razor here is just adjust the gas on the fly. In the moment, shoot the overgas system, sure, but when you have a second, or when you're in training mode, simply turn the gas setting to a pre-known configuration with whatever we're shooting in that moment. Unfortunately, that ability is something that exceedingly few platforms have on paper, and fewer yet still have in practice, as my blown out channel budget is becoming increasingly aware of. Summing it up, so we're all on the same page for this and future videos. What I, perhaps you want with 300 Blackout is an inherently reliable firearm that can handle the extremes of the gassing index, a system that has adjustable gas with granularity so we don't run into the issues of being so overgassed that we cause malfunctions, and finally, a adjustable gas block that is quickly adjustable in the field without a tool. If we do have to use a tool, it needs to be something that is generic and easily kept on the rifle or person, so no 12-foot long Allen keys.
I don't think Swordens can get wet, dude.
I don't think Swordens are useful in anything other than Tarkov.
It's a good thing they're not expensive. Oh, wait. They're also that.
Okay, with that out of the way, let's look at the Wolfpack Armory Hyena and see how it tackles the 300 Blackout dilemma and problem set.
We're about to watch The Land of Good.
It's actually called The Land of Bad.
Is that a prediction?
Well, I'm hoping they didn't jinx themselves with that title, but I have predictions.
Okay.
One is that it's going to be like a direct-to-video quality 511 commercial for 2 hours. That's prediction one.
Are those the new 511 tactical gloves?
We're 2 minutes into the movie.
You know, the ones with the Kevlar net?
You know, the ones with the selling points?
Yeah. Kevlar net. Awesome.
Wow, that didn't take long.
The PWS that I owned obviously didn't fit the bill of a 300 Blackout setup, and actually a build I had way back when, I think it was 2017, 2018, which was a homebrew 300 Blackout setup with a set screw adjustable gas block, didn't do well either. So, third time's the charm, maybe, this Wolfpack Armory Hyena. Whoopsie-poopsie, almost forgot the disclaimer part. Wolfpack Armory did in fact send me this rifle free of charge. That, of course, will influence, to a small degree, my opinion, like it does everyone else's. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That is something important to state.
For the review process, I put about 3,000 rounds of ammunition through it, mostly supersonics, but about 500 rounds of subsonics. And you can see, even though it's been cleaned a number of times, this gun gets dirty. When you get it in hand, it's very clear that this is a Honey Badger inspired gun, right? I mean, for example, the brace, which is probably the most iconic looking thing on the gun, is called the SBHB brace. Also the name, Hyena, right? They're doing a GHM9, grasshopper mouse thing. Ha ha ha, Hyena eats honey badgers.
Oh boy, this video's going great. Second interlude from editing Brass Wax. I don't know how I forgot this, probably because I didn't personally care, but I know other people care a lot. That SB Tactical brace is very hit or miss, namely in the sense that if you have a very upright stance, you're not going to have a proper cheek weld and the buffer is going to slam you into the cheekbone. If you have a more forward stance like I do, you'll find that it's mostly a non-issue and works just fine. But keep that in mind. Maybe worth checking out in a gun store before you buy something like this. So how did the gun group after 3,000 ended up being 3,300 rounds? I redid the grouping once again at the end. Didn't end up mattering. The grouping size was roughly the same at the start and end of the review. It's worth noting with these grouping sizes, not only were these shot at 75 yards, but it was also done in pretty unideal conditions, just with what I had at the time. Yeah, sue me, I'm the grade Z list YouTuber, strikes again. So with that, at 75 yards, this is what we got. Top one Winchester white box, 125 grain, just over like an inch, about an inch and a half. The 220 stuff at the bottom, that's the subsonic. Winchester white box was doing about two and a little bit inches. And then in the middle, we have 195 grain subsonics as well. These are the Max Expander Lehigh bullets.
Just some quick things on this. It comes with a ambi charging handle, ambi safety selector. It does not have an ambi mag release. I added that in after the fact. The handguard up front is sort of a generic OEM ones that you see all around. It's fine. It's approaching the point where, for the price tag of this gun, maybe I would like to see something slightly better. On the barrel, which is a 7.5 inch barrel, 1 in 8 twist. The website has it wrong. It is 1 in 8, not 1 in 7. There is going to be a Plan B flash hider muzzle device. So if you have a Plan B compatible device or you have a hub compatible suppressor, you can put on a Reardon Atlas adapter and boom, you're off to the races. Before going on, I'll just quickly go over how I have mine personally set up so you don't ask 400 questions about it. Suppressor up front is the Nomad, not titanium version. It's the stainless steel version. Fairly inexpensive at about $800. Very large diameter relative to its length, with once again fits really well for a 300 Blackout setup, hub compatible, and pretty old now, so you get these on sale quite frequently, at least I did. I'm not going to do a review on it. I bought it for personal use, but I've been quite happy with its sound performance. How convenient. On the side here, we have a Surefire Turbo Pro body with the head of a Modlite Noxus, or Noxus. What? We need to cheat. It says on the side. Yeah, Noxus. Noxus, what the fuck am I talking about? Noxon, what in the fucking League of Legends? Light on the head. There's no secret meta here. I just wanted the turbo head on a different body on a different gun, and then I was left with this body and mount, which is actually a very good body and mount, so I put the head on this now headless light, and it does just fine. Romeo 8T, I'm probably going to make a Nova Group video on this thing. It may be the best product SIG makes, which is a very low bar, but it's actually quite decent if you're okay with putting a small child's worth of weight in the form of just a red dot on your gun. Down here we have a Joint Task Force single point sling. I have mine wrapped up because this gun gets stowed in my van a lot. Generally speaking, I hate both rope style slings like this, right? So it's not flat, it's a rope style. I hate flexion and I hate single point slings. But for a setup like this, I prefer single point slings, or I at least think single point slings make a lot more sense. The stretching is very useful for single point slings that you're going to run relatively tight, and in a single point setting, I do prefer rope over the flat ones, because flat ones tend to roll over each other, and without 2 points of contact, they tend to do it a lot. So good fit for this one. I actually like this thing a lot. Okay, we're majorly off topic now, but I feel like that was important to kind of skim through. So, the centerpiece of this rifle, the reason why you probably will buy it outside of the form factor, which is what initially attracted it to me, is the rifle speed adjustable gas block. So this is a rotary style adjustable gas block. There's a ring that pushes a plunger back and forth, which adjusts our, gas to the system. And because it's sort of notched, it will click into one of 12 positions, so you can remember which position you want for your rifle. These things are pretty good as far as the industry consensus goes. I know Red Right Hand puts these on their IARs and shoots the absolute piss out of them, and they've held up from a durability standpoint seemingly pretty well. Similarly, Hop has done a review on his, and he's a big fan of the rifle speed adjustable gas blocks. Unfortunately, I have not had this luck.
Yeah, completely jammed up. Well, fuck me. Doesn't carbon lock my ass. Cha. Oh my god, it's completely jammed. Yeah. There it goes. Let's go to in between. Yeah, it's jammed again. Huh. Wow. Is rifle speed just shit?
Worse yet though, sometimes the plunger gets so jammed up that it sticks in a single position regardless of how much force you're able to apply to the collar, to the point where I'm bending tools. And while you'll eventually probably be able to get the collar to move, the actual plunger itself will just remain in whatever position it was, functionally turning our adjustable gas block into a non-adjustable gas block until you pull the whole thing apart. Unfortunately, this isn't even a one-off case of a badly manufactured rifle speed. I sent it back to Wolfpack after the first 300 rounds and got back a whole new upper rifle speed, and yeah, unfortunately the issue still persisted. I suspect my discrepancy with the rest of the market here is about 50% due to 300 Blackout being very dirty in these short-barreled configurations, and about 50% of it being much lower round count trips on average, but having many, many more of them with a much higher round count overall, which I believe builds up carbon and fouls guns far worse than any single day FRT Giga trip. I also have to kind of just put the disclaimer in here. The rifle speed thing has been very perplexing for me, as I have actually not seen a single negative review on the rifle speed stuff, and my experience has been very against the grain here, so keep that in mind. I might not always get it right. So, where does that leave us? Well, on one hand, this rifle is actually a really good value proposition. And while 1800 might feel like a lot for a newish brand, it's important to remember that this includes a Cerakote job, a $300 brace, $250 gas block, and a $100 muzzle device, which all drive up the cost substantially over the base rifle. On top of that, when you compare it to the rest of the market, which tend to charge $2,500 to $3,000 for setups like this, and it was, at least for a while, one of the best ways to get a rifle like this. But in the endless pursuit of PSA to have more SKUs than humans on planet Earth, they're going to be dropping the mixtape by the time this video comes out, which is basically the exact same setup, except it doesn't have a rifle speed and it costs $500 less because competing with PSA on pricing is impossible. I'm currently flipping coins on if I want to take a plunge on another PSA review. But really, seems kind of redundant because most of you already have your mind completely made up on PSA one way or another. But bringing it back to the Hyena. Well, I was able to mitigate those gas block issues by constantly rotating the collar after every single trip to break free excess fouling before it became a problem. The fact that I could go from hand adjustable to completely jammed up in a single range trip doesn't give me a lot of confidence using this in the field, so to speak. And the requirement to both baby and carry a tool for my hand adjustable gas block removes a lot of the appeal of this thing. At that point, I'd rather just have a set screw adjustable gas block despite my hatred towards them and gain back some M-lock, rail estate, and mitigating the tendency for me to burn the snot out of my fingers on this thing. So, yeah. Wolfpack Armory Hyena gets very close to solving my 300 Blackout Dilemma, but fumbles it in the last 10 yards. Inning. Whatever, I don't know sports analogy. Go team. I'll be keeping it in rotation because The problems are workable, and this is actually my only current 300 Blackout setup, but I'm also going to begin evaluating other options like maybe the Maxim PDWs, or finally suck it up and buy a SIG Rattler. I don't know. Anyways, that's the show. We'll see you guys later.
It's like the Olympic torch, except you carry it like shit.